Hey guys, it's review day. Woo! Okay, so this is what we're gonna do today for your test tomorrow. Okay, over the pre-Civil War, everything we've been talking about these last couple weeks, everything I've been yapping about these last couple weeks, all comes together tomorrow. The first thing that you should have done before this video is play the Bookit. That Bookit is up on Google Classroom, ready for you to play as many times as you want to your heart's content tonight to study for your test. Okay. I will check your study guide tomorrow. Yep, tomorrow. You'll, give it to me before you take your test. Normally, I want to make this aware guys, I can't talk. I can't talk. I want to make you aware of every time we have a test, okay, the day before the test, I'm going to check your study guide in class, okay? So let's say like today, right? All my other classes, I checked and made sure they had their study guide completed today, and then tomorrow they'll take their test. Now, usually when I check their study guide, I'm just looking over it, right? Looking to see if they have the right answers, looking to see if they have it filled out. And then I mark it in the grade book, and then I give it back to them, okay? So they can study. So that will usually be the procedure before test. The day before test, I'll check your study guide. But since I am not present, I will check your study guide tomorrow. Okay. The next thing that we're going to do right now, virtual me, is going to go over some review questions that we have on the test tomorrow. We have a couple of short answer questions, and those questions are grouped together almost. So there's 2 questions per like number. So for example, let's say number 15. Okay, number 15 would have describe 2 outcomes of the Kansas-Nebraska Act, or describe 2 specific things that slaves were forced to do while on slave ships. Okay, so it's either one or the other. You answer one or the other. You do not answer both. Okay, and it'll make more sense when we take the test tomorrow. So here's some of the short answer questions. The first question says, describe 2 outcomes of the Kansas-Nebraska Act. Okay. A couple of outcomes could be it got rid of the Missouri Compromise. Remember that dividing line? It got rid of that piece of legislation. It also led to Bleeding Kansas. It led to people fighting from the North and the South.
Pardon the interruption. Madison Kaiser.
I'm sorry, I can't talk over that.
Kaiser, please come to the office.
Okay, hopefully she gets to the office. It could be caused popular sovereignty, right? People are voting on whether it's a free or a slave state. Any of those answers would work for this one. The next one says, describe 2 specific things that slaves were forced to do while on slave ships. Okay. You could put force fed. You could put tortured. You could put chained together. You could put in close quarters, right? Not a lot of room to move. Had to go to the bathroom in buckets, thrown overboard. Any other ones you could think of are probably correct. Okay. Describe 2 specific punishments slaves had to endure on plantations. Okay. Branded. You could also put whipped or tortured, forced to have kids, forced to marry, had to work long hours in the hot sun, had to pick cotton, which would prick their fingers. Any of those would work. Describe 2 specific things that happened to slaves before slave auctions. This we kind of talked about, kind of didn't. Some things you could put for this would be doctors would examine them. They would be sold off to the highest bidder. They could be forced to exercise before, and that could also go on this one. Okay, but forced to exercise before to make them seem more physically fit, to make themselves better, and separated from their families. I don't know if I already said that, but that works too. Okay. All right. So those are some short answer questions that you'll see tomorrow. Now we get into the game, and I hope this works because I'm not there. I really hope and pray it works. But if it doesn't, we can just play the Bookit for the rest of the hour. That's fine. I'll have that set up on my iPad. Okay. But you're going to be split into 2 teams. Okay. The sub is going to give you a number, okay? It's gonna be a 1 or a 2, okay? And you'll go to that side of the room. So ones will go to one side of the room, ones will go to, twos will go to the other side of the room, okay? This top hat, I'm gonna make myself bigger here. Okay, can you see me? This top hat, okay, has little slips of paper inside, okay? And it has things written on it, okay? You guys are going to pick a piece of paper. One person from each team is gonna pick a piece of paper out of this hat, okay? And you guys are going to have to get your team to guess what the word or the phrase is, but you can only use one syllable words, okay? So, for example, if my word, if I reach in here and I pick out a piece of paper and it says George Washington, I'm going to turn to my team and I'm going to say, first in White House, right? All of those words have one syllable. You can say as many words as you want, but they only can have one syllable, okay? So for example, I can't say, if I pick George Washington, I can't say first president because president has 3 syllables, okay? You also cannot gesture anywhere in the room, right? Or act it out. You also cannot use bad words, obviously. You also cannot say sounds like or rhymes with. You also can't use any initials or abbreviations. So no gestures, meaning if I get this, I can't point up to where George Washington is on my wall over there, right? No bad words, obviously. No sounds like or rhymes with. I can't say sounds like porch, right? That's not even a word, and also that goes against the rules. Okay. I also can't say GW because that would be abbreviating his name. I also can't just say George. Okay. If you get a piece of paper and you say a word on the piece of paper to your team, that doesn't count. That's cheating. Okay. Once somebody says a word on your card, you may repeat it until they get the full thing, right? Even if it doesn't have even if it doesn't have just one syllable. Okay. So basically it's like a guessing game. Okay. If you get it wrong, or if you say something, if you break one of these rules, right? If you say a word with more than one syllable, you need to put the piece of paper back in the hat, okay? And go have a seat and have somebody else come up and get it, okay? You guys are going to compete with this, okay? Until all of the pieces of paper are gone, okay? And then if there's time left, you'll start over, okay? You can pick team names. I'll leave like a little tally up there. Last hour's team names were LeBron and Miss Grady has an Arthur's potato for lunch today. That was their team name, okay? So you can be as creative as you want. Again, this might be too confusing. If it just try it. If it ends up being super confusing, play the book it, okay? Regardless, we do have a test tomorrow and I am checking your study guide. If you have any questions, you can email me, but I'm at a cross-country meet, so, and I'm also driving the bus, and I don't believe in texting or emailing while driving, obviously. So I might not get back to you either at all or not till later tonight, okay? I'll see you tomorrow. Trying to think of something else to say. I got nothing. Later, skaters.